Hey guys, Tech here for another video. Today we're going to be talking about another password manager, and I've done several videos in the past on several different password managers, but today we're going to be talking about a password manager I haven't heard a lot about. It's relatively new for me, but they have a really good product, and so I wanted to take you through all the different features and what is available. Now, just as a disclaimer, I have worked with this company on this video, but my overall requirements whenever I'm approached by a company or if I'm working with someone on a video, if it's something that I do not enjoy using, if it's not a good product, then I will not do a video on it. So these are all my own opinions. This is my personal review. I didn't get any material from the company. So I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to be able to review this product for the company here. So in this video, again, we're going to go through all the different features. But what I wanted to start off by doing is going through the pricing. Now, again, everything that we're going to talk about here is my personal opinion of the product. I haven't been given anything from the company to actually discuss. So if we look at the pricing here, just starting off, a couple things when I'm comparing this to other services out there, and I have been playing around with this service and getting a chance to use it a little bit more. It is not the least expensive option when it comes to password managers, but I think it is very reasonably priced. And also a note here, they do seem to have very frequently different options for discounts. So the lifetime option here is currently discounted for the holidays, down from $199 to $100. And then if we look at the family plans, they do have family plans available as well. And the other thing is you can also you can pay by the year here, and so this is going to give you what that actually comes out to for the per year cost. So it's $39.99 per year. Or if you want to do other different bundled tiers here as well, the other thing that they offer, which is kind of cool, is they have different bundles that include quite a few different features. So here you have a bundle that includes the password manager, but as well as a firewall, a VPN, smart DNS. So they have a lot of different things that you can bundle, which is really cool. So many different options here in terms of pricing. Again, not the cheapest, but not the most expensive option on the market as well. Now, if we go back to the main page here, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to jump into first here if we look at the actual interface. So this is available on desktop. It's available on mobile devices. It's available cross-platform, so you're going to have that option here. And we will dive into both the mobile and the desktop interfaces. And then here are some of the features. So they do have really high levels of security built into the application. It talks about here the ease of use, obviously being one of the particular highlights for this product. You can share your data safely across devices. So I'm just going to dash through a couple other things that will really stand out for me. So obviously security is a big component of this product, but one thing that I thought was actually very interesting with Passwarden is the duress mode, which is something that I haven't seen in other products, and I thought it was pretty cool. Duress mode is something where you can set a unique password in your device so that if someone is like, hey, I need your password for a particular account, you can put in that password, and it's almost sort of a fake set of credentials. It'll only display specific data that you've previously defined. So for example, if someone's like, I need your password for this account, and you can put in that particular password, it'll bring up the data, and you could say, hey, I don't have that password. So if you're being stressed for a password you don't want to give out, and you want to have a particular mode that doesn't show that password, then you can use that. So that was a really cool feature that's unique. So a lot of obvious, very common features here. You do have two-factor authentication. You have a security dashboard available as well. And again, this is cross-platform: Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Chrome, Firefox, Edge. There's a web app available as well, which is really nice. So pretty standard stuff here. What I'd really like to jump into now is what the product looks like. So all you have to do to download it is go into the download section in the top right-hand corner here. And if I click on my downloads option, then here I can scroll through, and there's a couple options. I can download it directly from the Windows Store, or I can download the installer and I can do that. Now I have actually installed this on my machine, so I'm going to jump straight into the actual application, and I'm actually going to go through the process of setting it up too. Now here you can see it's going to go through some of the features initially. But let's go ahead and just click on proceed and start with putting in my email here. So I'm going to type in my email that I'm going to use for this example here. And we're going to proceed. I'll go ahead and sign up for those marketing emails. And now we're going to go ahead and register. Okay, so now it's going to send a code to your email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this email here, grab the code, and type that in. All right, so after you key in that code that you get in your email, you're going to need to create a master password. So I'm going to go ahead and just create that master password. And once you've typed in your master password twice, click on next. Okay, so the thing that I thought was really cool here is with Passwarden, as a security feature here, it's going to give you a recovery key. So if you ever do lose your master password, you do have the option to recover it using the recovery key. So you'll want to copy that and save that somewhere safe and make sure you don't lose it. That's a really good security feature to make it easy in case you do forget your password. So what I can do here is I can just go ahead and save to a specific location. And when I click save, it's going to save my recovery key. And then I should be all set, and then I can click on OK. Now, after you get past that step, it's going to ask you some questions here. So you can go ahead and choose some different parameters here. So you want to choose how quickly Passwarden should lock your profile. You can set it up to 30 minutes or as low as 15 seconds. So I'll set it to 30 minutes here. I can import all of my data here from another tool if I'd like. It gives you easy access to install the Chrome extensions. Suggests that you use mobile apps if you have it on those platforms. All right. So now it's going to go through a little tutorial phase here where you can add in your information. Now, just jumping into this, the thing that I really like about Password and a couple other things that were positives for me is I really like the user interface. I think it's really simple and it's very easy to use. And not every password manager that I've used is simple. Some of them have issues with lag. Some of them are complex or they're not viable for what I'm trying to enter. And so the simplicity part here is that they have the perfect number of different items and item types that I would want to add into my account, and the right amount of information that I would need to store there. So if I want to do a login, for example, then I can easily do that. I can go in here and do just login. And then you can see here I can choose which vault that I want to store it into. So I can just go ahead and choose between, right now I just got my personal vault, but you can have multiple vaults in there if you'd like to. I fill in my desired fields and then click save when I'm done. So here's my first test login that I've created here. And at any point in time, I can click on the edit option here to edit this data. Again, I can choose between different vaults. If I want to add an additional vault, we can say, give that a name. Here's my second vault. And so the nice thing here, this could come into use cases where you're either sharing with multiple people, or if you want to have a vault for maybe your personal items and you want one separate for work, or if you have personal work and then some other professional vault for other stuff that's not work related or whatever it might be. You can have as many vaults as you need and kind of separate your information that way, which is really cool. Again, if I click on the edit option, I can edit all the data in one of these particular items here. So if I want to put in my email, put in my username and my password, whatever URLs I want to use. Now there is a password generator in here, which is nice. So I can fine tune all the parameters and then I can use this password And so that makes it really nice because I don't actually have to think of a password, which is common in most password managers, but they do have a very good password creator here. And then I can save that, and you can see it's synced. And so the nice thing is that it's syncing the data securely back and forth. It's not throwing it up in the cloud where it's easily accessible. Something like LastPass, if I'm comparing this to something like LastPass, I would much prefer to secure my passwords in something like Passwarden versus LastPass. It's going to increase the security of your data. It's not just sitting out in the cloud where someone could potentially get your master password, log in, and access all of your information. It's a little bit more secure than many of the cloud-based solutions that are out there. A couple things here. Once you've started to add your different items in here, so for example, if I want to add a card, you can see what this looks like. I have my preset information that I can put in for a card here, and I can just add that in here. If I start adding a few other things, so for example, if I wanted to add a credit or debit card, you got all the fields that would apply there. And I can start filtering. So if I want to see only my logins, I can filter by just logins, or I can filter by just my ID cards. So it does make it really easy and simplistic to do that. You can also add different tags if you need to. So you can see here that I've got my favorites. But if you want to add certain things to certain tags, or you want to categorize those appropriately, here you can see that this test one has this particular tag, but I can create new tags and I can add my different items as I would like, which is just going to make it a little bit easier to track. So if you want everything that's relating to a specific bank, you can have a tag for that particular bank, or everything related to your social media, so on and so forth. You can kind of just customize those as you need. You also have your security dashboard here, which has a lot of really cool features. In the security dashboard, you have things like dark web monitoring. I have a comprehensive kind of view here of my total protection, so I can see how safe my passwords are. Anything that's weak is going to show up here, anything that's going to expire soon. I also have some additional options that are offered by Passwarden. I can enable extended protection. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, if you want to use a VPN, you can certainly use one of the VPN options that they have as well. And then also you can see things like compromised accounts, vulnerable passwords. All of that is available here, which is really cool to keep visibility of how safe and secure all your passwords are. You got notifications here as well. You'll be able to see all of those. I can fine-tune my settings here. And then I can set up my duress password, which I mentioned before, which you can use in the event that you don't want to show something to someone. Okay. Manage my family. So depending on what version you're on, if you want to sync across multiple devices and have family management, then you can get that feature if you have a paid version, and you'll be able to share with all of your family members. And then, of course, they have the ability to contact support right there as well. So that's the pretty simple overview here of the desktop application. There is also an extension available for whatever browser you're using. But the next thing that I wanted to show is what it looks like on your mobile device. And so I'm going to go ahead and just jump into on Android here what the app looks like. It's very similar on iOS, but I'm going to just jump into that and show that to you now. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and just open up the password manager here, Passwarden. So here I've got the app already installed. I'm going to tap on the open option. So obviously first step here, I'm going to go ahead and enter my email address, and because I want to go through the whole process again, I'm going to put my new email address in here, and then we're going to click on proceed. So I've got my email address in here, and now I'm going to go ahead and click on the proceed option. And just to note before we continue, you can see you also do have the option to sign in with your Google or Facebook account as well, or you can use this in guest mode. So I'm going to go ahead and agree to the terms. We'll sign up for their marketing emails, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Now make sure to get the code that gets sent to your email address just like we did before. Grab that, throw that in here, and then we'll continue. Okay, so what I did here is I went ahead and just recorded a separate video because I was unable to get the security permissions to allow me to bypass and be able to show it through a screen share. But here you can see you can set your autofill service in the app. Obviously configure that, and then afterwards, once you get to the main screen here, here's where you can go ahead and start adding in your new password. You have an edit icon in the bottom right hand corner. You can also trash an item if you have a password you don't need. You just click on that little plus button there, and you're going to select which of the items you want to add. I do apologize for the quality, but this is the best that I could get here. Since I could not get the screen share to go. But here again, if I click on the bottom left-hand corner, I can go and look at all my vaults. And then I can create a new vault if I want. And I can rename that if I need to. All right, and then again, I can have my filter options here to filter or look at any particular tags that I want to. And then from this settings screen here, I can go directly into settings. I can navigate between all of my existing vaults. Again, I can filter. I have all of my different data types here that I want to add. Simply enter your data. You do have selection screens here. If you're doing like a date, for example, I can just select that, add that in there. And then I can always go back and modify them anytime I want and make any changes that I need. Okay, I did also want to show you the Chrome extension here. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. I just installed the extension in my browser. Okay, so after you have the extension installed here, I can click on it and you're going to be able to see all of your different passwords that you have saved or different items that you have in your vault. And so here, another thing is when I'm on a new website or any website, you see this little icon here. So first of all, if I'm in the accounts field here, you can see it's going to show anything to display. I really like the interface of how the autofill functions work. So if I have different accounts, I'll be able to choose from them here. And then down here, if I want to generate a new password, I can do that. Since this case, I'm already using one that I have, I'm just going to click on the sign in option here. And now for comparison, if I look at the sign-in screen, once I've signed in and I've saved my password, here you can see I've now got the login accessible and I can just click on that. And once you click on that, it's going to populate your information. I can then click on the sign-in option. Alternatively, I can also go in here and I can just choose my login that I want to use. Okay, and then finally, the last thing I want to show is the web app. And so if you just go into the download section, you hover over to the web app, on the Passwarden site here, if I click on web app sign in, here I can go ahead and sign into my account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and we're going to go ahead and look at the web app here. All right, and in the web app, you can see it's a familiar interface, very similar to what we have in the desktop application. I have my option to add my vaults here, as we've seen before, and I've got some different categories here. So I can view through these different categories to see all of my items that match those particular categories. I can add a new item in here and just choose which of these I would like to grab. I can do a new bank account, for example, fill in that information, generate a password here, and save. And of course, you can always go back and edit from here. So pretty simple. Really, again, intuitive user interface here, and all of the different interfaces and applications. You can immediately lock your vault when you're done for security if you'd like, and choose the period of time that you want before it's going to lock out your account. But those are the main ways that you can interact with your content, your passwords within Passwarden, through the web app, through your mobile device, and through your desktop application. Then, of course, also you can interact with it through the extensions that you use in your browser. Okay, guys, and so that is the end of this video. Again, I wanted to just kind of go through all the different features and show you what Passwarden offers. So I do hope this video was helpful. Again, did work with the company on this video, but all of the opinions, all the content, what I've talked about here was completely my own here. And so let me know in the comments what you think. I think this is a really solid password manager. So this is from Keep Solid, and Passwarden is a part of Mono Defense. but larger company with a lot of different products in their portfolios. So especially if you're a user of any of their other products, this is a really great option. But regardless, I think it's a very solid standalone password manager as well. I will have links in the description where you can pick up this password manager. But again, let me know what you think. Let me know any questions you have. Otherwise, everyone, that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next video.